We'll start project cost management today. One of the knowledge areas in the 10 knowledge areas which we have discussed earlier, like project integration management, project cost scope management, project time management, project cost management, quality management, human resource management, procurement management, risk management, communications management, stakeholder management. These are the 10 knowledge areas we discussed earlier, and out of which today we'll discuss in detail about project cost management. So project cost management, what do we discuss basically, and what do we do in project cost management? In project cost management, we do activities pertaining to planning your cost of the project. Every project, it involves money, it involves cost. So it deals in planning the cost of the project, estimating the cost, how much each activity will cost, and at the end of the day, what is the cost of the total project, the budgeting, and how do you control the cost. Most important thing is how do you control the cost. The reason being, you plan, you budget, you do everything, but when you are executing the project, the most important thing is you have to control the cost. You have to make sure that you are on budget as per the plan. Your project is going on, you are not overspending. Okay, so how do you do that? What are the different tools, what are the different techniques, and how do you do that? So when you are planning your project, cost related to the cost, the important thing is you have to consider the life cycle cost. For example, you are developing a product. To develop that product, some cost is involved. Say to develop a product, you are developing a new mobile. To do the research and to develop the product, assume that it is taking $100. But to do the maintenance, to do the operations, how much it costs, the life cycle. So normally any product or any software what you develop, or the outcome of the project, it may have two things: capex and opex. Capex is the capital expenditure, opex is the operational expenditure. Capital expenditure is the first time investment what you put on developing the software. Once you develop the software, in order to maintain that software, the maintenance what you do, the support, the operations what you do, even that you have to take care. So the life cycle costing is both the capex and opex, capital expenditure and operational expenditure. So you have to consider both. For example, you developed a product by doing a project. Assume that it costed $10,000. But every month, the operational expenditure in order to maintain that, it is costing you $5,000. And the life cycle of that particular, say, product, or the life of that particular product is, say, 10 years. So every month it's costing $5,000. $5,000 into 12 months, $60,000 into 10 years, $600,000. $600,000 plus initial $10,000 is your capital expenditure. So $610 is the life cycle cost. So you have to consider both. Sometimes what happens, initial capital expenditure may be more, or Funny developed a different product. The cost of that, the initial capital expenditure of the product is, say, $100,000. Every month, only $50 are required for the maintenance. So 10 years span, 12 into 12 months into for 1 year, 12 months into 50 is $600. $600 into 10 years, that is $6,000. Initial 1 lakh and this is $6,000. This is a 1 lakh and $6,000. So capital expenditure may be less, but in the first case, the operational expenses are more. In the second case, capital expenditure is more, but the operational expenditure is less. So when you are sometimes you do a life cycle costing also. Normally you do it when you are doing the project feasibility. In the initiation stage itself, you will do it. Whether it's feasible or not, what is the capital expenditure, what is the operational expenditure. Sometimes you can do a detailed costing here, life cycle costing. It's only a concept. In order to make you understand this concept better, for example, my wife asked to get a pet. So I went to market. to get a pet. In the market, I saw a baby dog, puppy, and they said the cost of the baby dog pet is 5,000 rupees. And I saw a baby elephant also, a small elephant, baby elephant, and they said the baby elephant is costing me 1,000 rupees. I felt baby elephant is better because it's only costing me 1,000 rupees, and I bought baby elephant with 1,000 rupees, and I felt my wife will be very happy and she will appreciate me. What is the mistake I have done here?
Not consider the operational cost of an element.
Yes, exactly. I have not considered the operational expenditure. It will eat away my salary. No, so my wife will stop feeding me and it will start feeding the elephant, and even it's not sufficient. Yeah? So sometimes you have to consider the life cycle costing, and you this is the cost management overview. We have not entered into any of the process yet. Okay, so what are the techniques we use for the estimation? Most of the techniques what we use here for estimation are the techniques what we used earlier in estimating the schedule. Like, no, one of the estimations is, say, analogous estimation, parametric estimations, which we have seen earlier. No? So they overlap because the way of the technique of estimation, the PERT technique, you remember the 3-point estimate, optimistic plus pessimistic plus 4 times most likely divided by 6. So these things overlap in cost management also, because both are estimations. There we are estimating the schedule, here we are estimating the cost. And there are 4 processes pertaining to cost management. Plan cost management. As you know, initially for everything there is a plan. I told for all 9 knowledge areas you will produce the plans. We have seen scope management plan, we have seen schedule management plan, now it's cost management plan. So cost management plan, primarily what do? You will plan your entire cost management activity. You will develop the policies related to the cost management. You will develop the procedures related to cost management. Who is going to do the estimations of cost in your project? When are you going to do the estimations of cost in your project? Which cost do you consider? For example, your project is 3 years, is 3 years tenure. When you are estimating the cost, today you are estimating the cost of the material of today, or the cost of the future, or at the time when you are buying it, or at the time when you are using it. When exactly are you going to take the cost, like, and which cost are you going to take? In the sense, you are constructing a house. Okay, it's a 3 years activity. Now you are estimating the cost. You need fans and electrical lights and switches. When you are estimating the cost now, the cost of the fan is, say, $100 now. But at the time when you buy after 3 years, it could be $120. Which cost are you going to consider? If you consider the current cost, but when the time when you purchase, it will vary. So you will decide here which costs are you going to consider in plan cost management. You will plan, you will decide on that. And how do you manage the cost? How do you expend the cost? How do you control the project cost? Upfront you do the planning here. And the second one is estimate cost. Once you do the plan, each activity or at a work package level, you do the estimation. Activity 1, how much it costs, or work package 1, how much it costs. Activity 2, how much it costs. Okay, so you do the approximation of the monetary resources, the money required to do an activity. It can be human resources, it can be material, anything. You will do that here in estimate cost. And once you estimate individual costs of the activities or the work packages, then you aggregate all these costs. That will produce your budget. That is determined budget. That will produce your budget. So that is determine budget. Control costs. So as part of the project activities, what you do, you will control the costs. You will make sure that in periodical intervals, you do a close monitoring to check whether you are on budget or you are ahead budget. No, you saved some money or you are at par. So these are the four processes we have. So I'm giving you one minute time by head these four names. So plan cost management, estimate cost, determine budget, control cost. So can anyone tell all the four process in cost management?
Yeah, this is Mukti.
Yeah, Mukti.
The first process is plan cost management. The second is estimate the cost. The third is determine the budget. And the fourth would be controlling the cost.
Perfect, perfect. Now we'll see plan cost management. So it's an identical process where you have in every knowledge area that you'll be producing a plan. So here also you'll produce a cost management plan. So for this, what are the inputs you require to plan your cost management primarily? So as I told you before, here you will establish the policies related to the cost management, what are the procedures and the documentation for planning, managing, expending, controlling project costs, reporting. When do you report related to the cost? Is it on a weekly basis? You inform all the stakeholders on the progress of your status of your costs, or is it on a monthly basis? Is it on a yearly basis? How do you do that? What is the frequency of audit you do? So somewhere in the middle of the project, you have to go and check whether you are as per the plan pertaining to cost or not. So when do you do that? Everything you will plan upfront here. So to do that, you need project management plan. So project management plan, as I told you, it has the plans of all the other knowledge areas and scope baselines and the baselines. And one of the baselines is the scope baseline. So scope baseline contains what? Anyone? What are the ingredients of scope baseline? Yeah, hi Arnam. I lost my internet connection. I'm in an important meeting. Can you quickly check and help me out?